Hello everyone and welcome back to another book review. Today I am going to be reviewing volume 4 in a manga series that I have been at for a while now. That is Correspondence from the End of the Universe by Menota. This is what the cover looks like. I do have reviews of volumes 1 through 3 on my channel if you need a refresher, but in this review I'm going to discuss some of the plot points that happen in volume 4 as well as things that I like and maybe didn't like so much about volume 4 in this series. So let's jump in and kind of talk about what we can expect from volume 4. So as a brief overview, this series is following our protagonist named Marco, who is right here. Marco is a young Russian college graduate who graduated from life in St. Petersburg, a university in St. Petersburg. He's going out into life. He plans to travel the world with his lover, and things kind of go awry when he gets sucked up into this totally alien world where he is informed that he has been randomly selected to perform 10 years of service in the service of building the universe. The universe, it turns out, is not maintained by science. It is maintained by some sort of bureaucracy corporation with someone named the Superior at top. And random people are chosen throughout time to do 10-year services in making sure that new planets form and the universe continues to run. Kind of like jury duty, just random selection. Of course, some planets like Earth are considered closed, so they have no idea about alien life or alien species or any of this until one of them gets randomly drawn, and Marco is one of those who was randomly drawn. So his life is on pause for 10 years as he tries to work in this universe and figure out what he's going to do, both when he gets back, because 10 years is a long time to be gone, and he has a potential relationship which is beyond repair when he returns, as well as just trying to make the best of the fact that he's stuck here for 10 years. Escape is basically impossible. Volume 4 does tie up a plot point that has been going on for a while, at least a couple volumes, which is his heart has been stolen. So in this job that you have, you're not able to be killed necessarily. You always regenerate because I guess you can't even get out of your service that way. But he has his heart taken by a mythical magical creature, and they need to retrieve it because just because you are being revived while in service, if you're missing a crucial body part like a heart, when you get sent back to Earth at the end of your 10 years, you will die. So there was a 10-year time frame to get it back. And volume 4 starts out with a 2-year time gap, is what I'm trying to say. So there has been a time jump. Marco has been studying, and his friends have been studying this creature for a while. They're able to retrieve his heart. We also get a first run-in in this volume with the Superior, who we come to find is not necessarily a bad individual, although he's not necessarily a good individual either. He's just an individual with a lot of power, and he's gray, dark gray character. It's interesting, but we get the sense that the Superior is going to cause more trouble later in the series for our protagonist, and this is not the last time we are going to see him. So the Superior gets a little bit of screen time in volume 4 as well. Marco, though, throughout the rest of this book, as with a lot of the volumes in the series, is just kind of trying to integrate into society as best he can, into the alien society in which he lives, do his job, make friends, maintain relationships, because if you're stuck somewhere for 10 years, you might as well make the most of it, right? So that's kind of what Marco's doing, just trying to make the most of it as he thinks about how he's going to return home and what that will look like, as well as some of the problems and things that start coming up as he's built a life here in this alien society that he has been tasked with working on. There is a scene with an alternate Earth in this series, or in this volume, which I'm going to talk about in the like and dislike section. So let's move into the like and dislike about this series so far. So the first thing that I'm really loving is the fact that there's not really a strong romance subplot. And I really like this because I do feel like I read a lot of manga series that have romance in it, which is fine, but I find that sometimes I'm just looking for something different. And this series, Marco has someone he's missing back on Earth. So it's not like everyone's devoid of relationships and love, but Marco already has someone, so we're not following any sort of subplot romance development in this series, which I really, really like. I also like the fact that, yeah, that's kind of keeping things at bay on the romance side, not to say that can't develop. So instead, this series is mostly focusing on the sci-fi element, the life element, the day-to-day element, without pretending like there's no romance element, but also without adding one to the story. So I really do like it. I also like that the Superior is kind of morally questionable. You're not quite sure what he's going to do. You get the sense that he does things that are best for him, and he has power to change things that could generally improve Marco's life, and things could work out in Marco's favor because this does seem to be a rather positive manga series. However, the Superior seems to do things that he wants, so to be consistent with character, I'm not entirely sure if the author will have the Superior character side with Marco, but it's interesting to add someone in who has a lot of power, isn't necessarily black and white good or bad like some of the other characters we've seen who are just super eager to help, but also maybe other characters who are just plain evil. Like he's truly an in-between character, so it'll be interesting to see how he's added to the story, and I like, yeah, the dynamic that he adds to the plot. The one thing that I had a little bit of a qualm with is this alternate Earth story plot. So Marco discovers there's a planet that's like Earth. It's basically Earth, but if Earth went down a different timeline, or just if you had two Earths but then you just let them go, things would eventually differ between the two, and that's the plot of this book. So Marco goes to visit, and on his visit to this alternate Earth, which presumably has been spinning for quite some time, we find that there is a St. Petersburg, and many of the things that Marco recognizes from his own life is there, and he runs into his doppelganger, and there's a whole subplot. He's clearly married to someone else, has kids, life is very different for Marco in St. Petersburg in this alternate Earth. My one complaint, though, is that if there was enough deviation for some things to be different in this alternate Earth, wouldn't those differences have added up to such a point by the time Marco's character was on Earth that the world would look totally different? It shouldn't look that similar if we're allowing differences in their paths of development, that Marco can still see a whole neighborhood exactly how it is and someone just like him, but yeah, I just felt like there was a little bit of a discrepancy in that whole section where like the author was clearly allowing for some things to be different, but not enough things to be different, so that Marco wouldn't find himself or wouldn't find his doppelganger who's having basically a similar life to him but just married to someone else. That was just, again, me nitpicking. I do find that I nitpick this series at times, but it's supposed to be a light, fun, fantastical summer read, so it's not supposed to be serious, and I think I'm just thinking about it too much, if I'm being quite honest. I think it's something that I'm able to overlook because the characters are fun, the world building is fun. The author really takes a lot of pride in building up a whole universe with distinct cultures and distinct practices. So I like the amount of work the author has put into the universe, and just these nitpicking things like this are more for this book review purpose. It doesn't, to me, detract too much from the story. I can still enjoy the overall light, fun, fantastical read. And yeah, I'm looking forward to Volume 5, seeing what is going to happen with Marco. I'm sure he's going to have another run-in with the Superior, and he is still, of course, serving his time, and I am starting to wonder how his relationships will be when he returns to Earth and how he's going to repair things with his lover, if that's even at all possible. 10 years is a long time to wait. If you're reading this series, I would love to hear what you think about this series. Please leave your thoughts in the comment section down below. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.